Hey everybody, this is Marian and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm popping in with a short book review. I recently had the chance to listen to the audiobook of the Pumpkin Pie Book Nook by Harper Graham. Thank you to NetGalley and to Bookator for the audiobook copy. It wound up being a really fun, cozy read that I listened to over the past week or so. I like to listen to audiobooks while I'm out on my walks, while I'm at the gym, while I'm just doing like tasks at home, like washing the dishes or whatever. So it was really nice. It was a comfy read and it kept me, occupied while I'm doing all my other stuff. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the book, but before I do that, maybe I should just introduce the series a little bit. This is part of the Maple Falls series by Harper Graham, and it's a romance series about a bunch of people that live in the small town of Maple Falls. And it kind of follows the format of there's all these different businesses in town and there's different business owners. For instance, like the last book that I read in the series, The Hot Honey Hideaway, that was about Krista and her business, The Hot Honey Hideaway, which is just kind of like a cafe bar where, all the local people have fun. And so that was about her finding love. And this book is actually about her sister, whose name is Robin. And Robin is a bit of an academic, if you will. She actually teaches classes. She's a professor at Yale, and she's on her sabbatical right now. So she decides to come to Maple Falls to take care of her aging grandparents, but also just kind of like take a break, relax a little bit. And her friend Meg actually owns a bookstore in town called the Pumpkin Pie Book Nook. So she figures while Meg is in Paris, gallivanting around, living her best life, she'll come and work at the bookstore. And then she also lives in Meg's apartment, which is on the second floor of the bookstore. Now, there's also a man who works at the bookstore. His name is Tyler. At the beginning of this book, it's very clear that Robin and Tyler have like a friendship type relationship. They seem to have known each other for a while, which I find that a little bit confusing because while I found this book very sweet, I also wish that there had been more lead up to their romance, and instead it's all kind of like off page. But Tyler works in publishing, I think, somehow. I wasn't really clear on that, but he has two jobs. So he works at the bookstore and he also like works on manuscripts. He's a single dad. He has a daughter named Emma who's 8 years old. So him and Robin are both very busy. Like they have a lot going on, and they also have a book club at the bookstore. I did like how Tyler is a total like cinnamon roll sweetheart of a character. He takes really good care of his daughter. He takes really good care of Robin. He is a gardener. He just like has all these like vegetables and squash that he's growing, which I found funny. Oh, and this is a weird like fact, but both Tyler and Robin happened to go to Harvard at the same time. That's like part of the thing about this series is that while it's very cute and very sweet, you also have to suspend your disbelief a lot. Like, I'm very, like, a realist when it comes to romance novels, so, like, all this, like, happenstance and, like, "Oh my gosh, they both went to Harvard at the same time." It's like, okay, how many people in a small town like Maple Falls would go to Harvard? And then also, like, have it be at the exact same time? It just you kinda have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. So yeah, the main plot of this book is the romance between Robin and Tyler, which is very cute. But then there's also a mystery subplot, and I really enjoyed that in the last book as well, where at the bookstore they have to go on this like scavenger hunt where Robin's great grandmother, whose name is Isabel, she started writing a manuscript and she left like pieces of it around town. And so the book club has to like follow these clues in order to find the manuscript and then put it all together in the end so that they can kind of like I'm not really sure what the point of that is exactly. I think they're just trying to like come up with like fun activities for the small town. So it's kind of like it's fun to go on the scavenger hunt, but then they're also because everybody in the book club is book lovers, they really want to finish the story because it's so good. So yeah, that's a little bit of the plot, and I don't want to go like too much into detail because, I want you to enjoy the book. But next we'll move on to some of my thoughts on this story. I just want to preface by saying that I do feel like this series, while it kind of seems cookie cutter at first, with the small town romance, the people falling in love. I do think that Harper Graham adds a lot of details to her story that makes it feel very like fun and original. I really enjoy the town setting of Maple Falls. I think it's really sweet and I love all of the characters. Like it's so funny to me that when the book club is gallivanting around town looking for clues, the mayor is just like running after them. And he's like a grown man, so it's just kind of humorous. There's just a lot of details of this story that really appealed to me. I loved the fall atmosphere. I loved the mention of like cider and all of the different snacks that they bring to book club. I think it's just so cozy. I like that Robin is an academic, but she also writes romance on the side. I thought that was a really fun side plot because I like to read and write romance as well. So I don't know, just something that stuck out to me. And like I said, I also really liked Tyler as a character. I did feel like he was maybe a little unrealistic, but in the best way, where it's like, how would a man like that exist in real life? But that's part of what romance novels are for, imagining and enjoying. At the end of all my book reviews, I asked myself, would I recommend this book? And I would say yes, that I would recommend The Pumpkin Pie Book Nook by Harper Graham. I thought it was really enjoyable. I mean this in the nicest way, but it's not like the most riveting romance of all time. It does kind of follow a similar path that a lot of small town romance novels follow, but I think that the details and the setting of Maple Falls, I just thought it was very sweet. I really love the world that Harper Graham I really love the world that Harper Graham has created, and so I know that this is a series that I want to read the rest of the books. I've only read 2 out of 5 so far, so I have to go back and finish the beginning of the series. And I'm really looking forward to any books that come next because I think that I think that there were characters mentioned in this book that are kind of leading up to the next book in the series. I don't know if Harper has announced any more books in the series yet, but I certainly hope that there will be more. And I look forward to seeing what happens next. So, those are my thoughts on the Pumpkin Pie Book Nook. As I mentioned earlier, I thought this was a really fun and escapist romance novel. I have to say that if a town like Maple Falls exists, let me know in the comments because I would like to visit it. It just seems very cozy and fun. And now that we're getting into autumn here, I'm ready for all the hot beverages. I'm ready for, weekends with my books and just like curling up under the covers. It's hot right now. It's August when I'm filming this, so a girl can dream, right? I did want to mention real quick, and I will put a link in the description down below, but I do have a Harper Graham reading guide on my book blog because I like to organize when there's a series that I want to finish earlier books in. I like to organize everything in a list so that, when I'm perusing Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, the library, that I can find the next book that I want in the series. So I will leave a link down below for my book guide if you'd like to check it out. I'd recommend it. So I think that is all for today. Thank you again to NetGalley and to Bookatour for the audiobook copy of this. I really enjoyed listening to it. I'm trying to get back into a gym routine, so audiobooks are definitely keeping me company at the gym. If you're new here, please consider subscribing or hitting like if you liked this video. I'll be back soon. I have some upcoming plans for the channel. Like I mentioned in my Friday favorites video, I do have a fall TBR list, and I'm posting it on the blog, but I think I'm also going to make a video here if you enjoy listening instead of reading. So make sure you stay posted for that. Alright, I gotta get on with my day, so thank you again for stopping by. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!